Welcome to Everyone Racers.
Yeah, just
How's
keep
that
going.
sound?
Just keep going.
Yeah, we're already recording.
That's good?
Oh, gosh, okay.
Welcome to Everyone Racers, a shit show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ or lucky track dog you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, as well as news and notes in the world of low-dollar endurance racing. And whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just a tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Thank you for coming back and listening to another I Love Rock and Roll episode of our podcast. It's episode 82. 82! What the hell? 82 is amazing. If you're not driving your car, don't forget your bingo card. It has not been updated since the last time we did it. Someday I will get around to updating it.
It's still pretty relevant, I would say.
Fortunately, a lot's going to happen in this show, so we'll get hopefully we'll all get bingo this time.
I was going to say, there is a lot of new things we can probably put on after the Pitt Race. Tremendously crappy time that we had. No, we had a great time. We did not show our best of ourselves. So.
And for all of us keeping a really good attitude, it was an immensely frustrating event.
Hey, Mental,
you should get
do you want to
closer
get
to your
remotely
microphone.
close to your microphone?
Sorry. Yeah,
it
was just a frustrating event, like exhaustingly, like Moco exhaustingly frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have an apology from last week because we weren't here and we said we were going to, and people were sad.
Yeah.
Surprised, like I was actually kind of pleased that people were unhappy. Not that we made them unhappy, but hey, you know what? Folks enjoy this.
Pretty much.
But everyone who's listening to this is a racer, and you know this, guys. You got to work on the race car, So we will do our level best though in the future to try and keep it going.
Sorry,
but there are plenty of people that said they went on. They're like Thursday. They're on their way to the track, and they were like, "Oh, let me get." Oh, they're like refresh. Nope, nothing to refresh.
I already listened to that stupid book episode.
Nuts.
Books
Right?
are for losers.
Yeah.
Sorry, not.
Well,
sorry.
the worst part is we know most of our listeners are on the East Coast because those are the people who know us. So they probably were excited to hear about the race they were traveling to.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure next time to have a fake episode many days ahead in our holster.
We talked about that
get too busy.
Years ago.
Episode like 50. We said
We did,
should
but
do
we had
that.
we had like 12 listeners, and we're up to like 18 now. So I mean,
Yeah.
we have to kind of start respect that. So let's kick this off with what you working on, Mental. So before the race, I was getting my RV ready to drive it up there. It sat. I think it's sat since the last time I took it to a race. And then we've been prepping the house, and I put the wife on a plane. She was in Omaha. And this is our last week in the actual house. We are going to move into the RV so that we can keep the house ready to show. I've been instructing some events at A&P, and just when you think you're done with driving the athletic bus, they pull you right back in. So I'm driving the baseball team. Tomorrow I drove the track team today. And basically about an hour after I'm done with this, I got to hop in the truck and go pick up the wife from the airport.
It's going to be quite a family togetherness event with you and Vicky and 3 dogs in the RV. So,
we've done it
fun.
before. We haven't done it for more than a week.
Yeah. Great. In water, especially without water or a generator.
Oh no, it'll have water. It'll have we're not boondocking. Yeah, we're going to an RV park. We'll have all that stuff hooked up.
All right, well that's
Oh,
good.
so you're not even going to like live in the driveway?
No, I'm trying to sell this house. I'm getting that RV the hell out of the driveway.
Oh, that's Georgia. I wouldn't think that would be that much of a turnoff for people.
Exactly,
But
really.
Look,
I mean,
it's because then people are disappointed that there's not an addition on, a casita or, as they call it, the mother-in-law suite, which is the RV you park in the backyard. We don't,
Get it.
So
I get it.
We were trying not to false advertise.
Sure.
cool.
All right, who's next? You want me to go?
You are.
All right, so I guess we have 2 weeks of things to cover. So before the race, I spent a day at the Stockton University Car Club show, which I am the advisor, and no one got killed, but everybody tried to kill somebody on the way out of the show.
A lot of Mustangs,
yeah. A lot of Mustangs, a lot
of
of peeling out. I actually went over to the campus police who was assigned to the event, and I said, hey, can you do something about this? Like, go over there and put your lights on or something?
Yeah, arrest those guys.
His answer was, well, I mean, it's a car show. What else are they going to do when they leave? No, jerk off. That's what you're here for.
To serve and protect.
Yeah, exactly. So one of my students who I had no idea was into cars showed up, and I have to just describe this. It was like a showroom perfect Buick GNX. And I was like, holy cow, dude, what is this? And he says, oh, my uncle gave it to me. It turns out his uncle worked for Exxon, and the company owned this Grand National since new, GNX, and it was a fuel test car. So it had less than 100,000 miles on the clock, and a lot of that was like in a wind tunnel. So way less than that on the road, and it was like perfect. And his uncle gave it to him and was like when he turned 17 or something like that, and he's had it ever since. So I like drooled all over it, and I told him, never sell this car unless you sell it to me, which he laughed at. I also drove to D.C. to pick up Hamsa's E36. I spent a day trying to get the Civic running. Cue sad trombone.
And doing various other productive things on the Civic, though.
That's true. Yeah, we did other things, too. We had a race. After the race, I drove home in a tornado watch. I arrived home in a tornado warning. And at 3 a.m., my wife woke me up in a panic. And she said, we have to take shelter. We have to run downstairs. And I was awake just long enough to watch the roof blow off the Wakeman RV in giant chunks.
This whole weekend is such a shit show.
This is this weekend is so bad. It might have been the first race weekend ever where we all just should have stayed at work.
Yeah, or home.
Or home.
Whoa. All right. Now, look. You guys are all young and you got your health. What you want with a job?
True.
Well,
Yeah.
it was a lot of work.
We don't live in an RV, so,
Yeah. That's the end of my story. Chrissy, why don't you talk to us?
I drove home in that same tornado watch through Ohio.
Going with the wind, though, so you were amazing.
Yeah, going with the wind. We were going against it the whole way home.
Yeah.
And I to give myself credit, I did tell everybody that this storm was coming. Remember, I walked around with a little Accu Roland said, "Look at all these things. They're saying bad storms." So it happened, and that happened. Okay, so I feel like also it's been a while. We before the race, we're prepping. We did a lot of. Chris was in the garage. We didn't see much of each other. He was working on the car until we called the car, which we need to talk about, I think. Is that even in our notes?
I assume Chris is going to talk about the car.
Okay, well,
yes,
I guess he will.
Car. Sure.
Good, you talk about the car. So while we were trying to work on the car, I was prepping and then packing, and then we just had minimal sleep all week last week, and then we packed, got to the race. I went with Chris will tell you where he was, but I went with Mental RV. They picked me up on the side of the road. I had
with
2 bags of cookies.
Wakeman RV. Wakeman RV.
Wakeman RV. I'm sorry, did I not say that?
You said
Mental RV. That's all right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at the notes. Wakeman RV, and they picked me up off the side of the road, which was awesome. My car was still there, but when I got back, fortunately, although that would have been a totally other crazy story.
I totally thought about texting you and saying, like, hey, did somebody steal your car? Because that would have been normal.
Because the way this weekend's going,
Kind of. Well, yes, and I parked in a, not so specific car park on the side of the highway, which fortunately was a car park because my car was still there.
And in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if it was there for a week, they probably would have been a problem. But then we got home, and we are still race hungover, just from tired. And the house still has. We tried to do most of the cleaning on Monday, but we still have all of the jugs because it's been cold and windy here. We haven't cleaned a whole lot of stuff that we usually do outside, so we still have a lot of cleaning to do. And then before we know it, we'll have family over for this weekend for Easter. So that's about what I'm doing. Chris, why don't you say what you're doing?
Well, it's been a while, and I'm not going to go through all the details because no one really wants to hear the level of detail and sadness that went into my last 2 weeks. But suffice to say, I spent every waking minute that I had either at work or sleeping or in the garage, and that's it. So, the Civic, we were making good progress. Things were good. I was doing all the wiring, and it would crank but just not start. I then double-checked everything. I then triple-checked everything. It went so far as to individually inspect every single wire in the unloomed engine harness, which is fun. Make sure nothing was wrong there. And it really came down to we weren't getting an RPM signal. The ECU would not fire the injectors without an RPM signal. We could make sure the injectors worked by putting 12 volts to them and fuel pressure, and they opened up fine and flowed fine. We made sure that every single sensor had power and ground. We tried running different powers and ground, nice straight to the battery and things. Everything was fine. No matter what, still no RPM signal. So I tore open the whole chain case side of the motor in the car, which is much more difficult than outside of the car, just to make sure the trigger wheel was there and intact and in the right direction. It was. Still no problem. Tried 2 different crank position sensors. Still a problem. Eventually had Chrissy with a multimeter inside the ECU in the right spot, holding it, watching the voltage as I slowly turned the motor over, and it was totally fine. So, bad ECU. That's on a Tuesday. No chance we can get an ECU, get a board soldered onto it, take off the immobilizer that Honda put on it, and have it running in time. So, we did the unthinkable. We got the TR7.
and I really think that we need to maybe discuss the TR7 just a little bit. We'll probably do that down in the race notes, right?
Add that to our race notes.
Yeah.
There's so much to talk about.
The TR7 has a long, storied history of failure, and then occasionally bursts of incredible speed, and then failure.
in a straight line.
Bookmarked by failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but that's what we raced. So I drove, but very fortunately, and honestly, Bruce came to our rescue and got that thing out of the weeds and got it running, and it actually did probably one of its better weekends this past weekend than it's ever done.
Yeah.
This actually was one of the best TR weekends ever.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that down
Not
in the
ever.
race stuff.
So that was good.
But
But that was a 600-mile day between leaving here, driving from Pennsylvania up to New York, and then New York all the way across Pennsylvania, the long way to get to Pittsburgh. So that was fun. And then we had a race, and then we went home, and the wind was so bad on the way home as a headwind. My Suburban could not maintain, with the trailer on it, could not maintain 60 miles an hour in fourth gear. I had to downshift to third to be able to go 60 or even slightly above. Not much.
I'd like to say your 2500 Suburban could not
that's
maintain.
6 liters of fury couldn't keep the thing going, in overdrive, so we had to get out of that.
It was quite a storm.
And then it's been just trying to catch up on sleep. That was a zombie Monday. It's been fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say there was definitely for some 30-minute sections where my foot was just totally flat to the floor in the Wakeman RV, towing my trailer, just shifting, trying to maintain a highway speed.
Yeah.
And
But I don't think I ever got below 60.
I had a crosswind, and my RV was actually getting knocked like entire lanes. I drove over some lake in Ohio, and the wind decided, we want you in that lane. And I'm like, that lane's way close to water. No, I don't want to be in that lane. I had so much crab angle. It was like I was driving a NASCAR.
Well, one time when we took your RV to Barbara, I think it was, and we got caught in a bad thunderstorm. I had to hold I had to hold a quarter turn of steering wheel to maintain the lane position.
Going straight.
Yeah.
It was fairly
It was like that. That's exactly what it was like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like that for about an hour.
Yeah. That's fun.
All right. Well, we'll get back to the shit show later. I probably should mention that if I don't sound my mellifluous usual tones, it's because in a panic, we took the Wakeman RV, which had the roof blowing off, to the body shop, and all of my podcast gear is in it. So I'm on my regular little tiny headphones instead of my usual microphone.
That's okay. You're else. Like me, so it's cool.
You don't sound all that bad, I gotta say.
Oh, good.
Jeff's voice is like velvet through all mediums.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is news and notes time.
That's not bad.
Hey, it's 2 weeks old, but I'm going to leave it in here anyway. It's not car-related. It is newsworthy. The last Doolittle Raider passed on, Lieutenant Colonel Richard Cole. He was the last living Doolittle Raider. If you guys don't know who the Doolittle Raiders were, right after we were attacked in World War II, Jimmy Doolittle grabbed a group of B-25s, made it the impossible thing of making them take off on a carrier, and with the intention of attacking Japan. It failed miserably. They all landed in the ocean because they could not make it to the rescue bases, but it struck a significant psychological blow to the Japanese, who thought they were untouchable.
Yeah, I actually, when this came up, I looked it up on Wikipedia, which you should too, because Mental has some alternative facts here, as usual, so you can look it up there and read the real story. It's better.
It's mental math.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
let's move on to some car-related stuff. Haggerty has.
I would like to address the fact that I did teach Air Force history, but please let's let Wikipedia.
They didn't
correct me.
all land in the ocean, so, and there's
Not all. A couple of them made it to China.
Many of them made it to China, and that was a huge problem for a whole variety of reasons and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's all. That was the big thing I was saying, Mr. History T-shirt.
That was their plan. They were all trying to go to China.
Yeah.
Mental doesn't have alternative facts. He just skips over and rounds off frequently.
But sure can spin a yarn, though.
None of them made it. They all died, except for those three who didn't die.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, car-related news and notes. Haggerty has acquired motorsport.reg and Race Hero from Brian Gildinelli. Sure.
Shop
Sure.
company.
Press release from motorsports.reg blog. Quote, while many of you know them for their classic car insurance, Haggerty is really an automotive lifestyle brand that motorsports enthusiasts love too. You can rent a classic or exotic car on their Airbnb for car platforms. Drive share. They offer HPDE insurance to protect your car on the track. You can learn what the car is worth using their valuation database before buying and selling. You can join the Haggerty Drive Club, which blah, yada, 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 yada. Basically, they just plugged all their stuff. But
Hashtag they should totally sponsor us.
totally sponsor us. We are an automotive lifestyle brand also.
We
Sure.
use Race Hero. You guys
and
put
we-
a Haggerty track policy
Yeah.
on
On the
Yeah.
NSX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't read their magazine, but they said it was the third largest automotive magazine, which is probably behind Car and Driver and Road and Track, which is a great segue to my next story. Automotive media veteran Sharon Silky Carty has been named the editor-in-chief at Car and Driver. In a related move, Car and Driver senior editor Tony Kregola, no idea how to pronounce that. I read his stuff. Quiroga
What?
was named print director. There's a digital director, and Eddie
Why do we care about this?
because it's the best automotive magazine in the world, and I'm about to get to a connection.
It's totally
Eddie-
not.
Eddie Alterman, the outgoing editor-in-chief, and college roommate with Brett Burke.
This is like 10 degrees of
Wakeman.
Wakeman. What?
I'll say,
Okay.
That's the best
Don't-
car magazine is the new Travis Mikulski headed Road and Track. Everybody knows that.
Sure. Still prefer Car
okay.
and Driver. Next.
Is that the
Keep going.
only reason why? Okay, great. So we're going to now talk about upcoming races. So gravel spewing former guest Santiago has gone through the entry list for upcoming Dirtfish Olympus rally in Shelton, Washington, which is probably amazing. April 27th, 28th, next weekend. A spectator guide is going to be linked in our show notes.
They have a lot of very big trees there. That's very nice.
Yes, yes, they do.
And this time of year, it probably is still going to be a little wet. So they have 61 cars starting, 31 of which are Subarus.
Boring. But Jeff,
According to the notes, one of them is a Subaru Brat, so that's cool.
That's cool. We like
Yeah,
that.
that's cool.
There's 10 Fords, 3 BMWs, which is not
All
as
right,
boring.
well,
That's rally.
all right,
Okay.
that's good.
2 UTVs, which I still don't understand the UTV thing. If I want something,
What is that?
it's like those like bigger than an ATV but not a Jeep things you sit next to. Like, why not
Yeah.
just buy a Jeep?
It's an
If you
off-road
want-
Like a,
golf
like a
cart.
gator type thing?
yeah, but
Yeah.
but,
exactly
like bigger
like a
and
gator with
faster.
a roll cage. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like if you
okay,
want
good.
a thing that seats 2 to 4 that goes off road, that's small and has a top and doors that come off, it's called a Jeep Wrangler, and it has been for 50 years. And at least that way you can drive it on the street. Where these things you can't even do that. Whatever, don't get it.
You
Okay.
can get a Jeep Cherokee for less than what you'd pay for one, like a used one, and beat it up and leave it in the woods.
Sure.
Nobody cares.
except you shouldn't do that because tread lightly. And there's also a 323 GTX, which is cool.
That's
Someone's
hot.
still running one
Yeah,
of those, and
that's
they're
so
not all
hot.
just broken. So this is like the last one that works.
So it's kind of cool. Santiago tried to pick some winners, but he doesn't know any of these people because they're all West Coast teams. So he's going to guess wildly.
That's all we
Limited,
do.
yeah, limited two-wheel drive. There's a Sentra SER number 222. Limited four-wheel drive. So these are the smaller motor guys. The Seahorn Rally Team. They have an STI, of course. And I don't mean, boring. NA four-wheel drive is the Brat. Not likely. Open two-wheel drive. Eric Potts Racing. Pick a better name, Eric. And their supercharged BRZ. But probably Seamus Burke in the V6 Escort Mark II.
The most Irish rally team ever.
Open four-wheel drive. David Higgins in his SRT. And the UTV. Do we care? It's a Yamaha.
No.
Next.
Yeah.
So Champ Cars at Daytona for 14 hours. Top spot was CMD Motorsports and an Integra. Second was usually reliable, well-driven R-Bank Racing Saab, Black Saab Rules. And third was the 9.4 Motorsports Lexus SC300. Hung North was 7th. John Artman and Never Start Racing was 26th. So, John, take your own advice. This is the stupid
WRL.
Yeah.
WRL was at Houston, and it was a bit brutal. The 25 cars that started that Saturday, only 16 finished and 2 were disqualified. Sunday saw 19 starters with 16 finishers. Saturday, the top spot went to Choice Racing for both overall and their GTO, the super class, the WRL cheater class. Second was NAI Racing, who took GT1 as well, and third was G-Speed, which was also in GTO. Sunday had Choice on top again with G-Speed and NAI third.
How do you get disqualified at WRL?
You run outside of your power to weight ratio bracket.
Oh. Do they follow you around and go,
you get
shame?
No, but then
Shame.
you could put a black box on it. You can put a black box on it, and then they'll know you lied about your power to weight that got you classified.
So you get disqualified and you're just done, just put on the trailer? Or
No, I imagine they just let you race, but hey, hope you had a good weekend. You're disqualified. You guys remember we talked about that was that Mustang team that got disqualified, and then they threw a temper tantrum in the parking in the paddock with a burnout.
Yeah.
Then they got
Basically,
banned.
if you won, you no longer won, and number 2 won. And number 3 becomes number 2,
Yeah,
and number 4 becomes number 3.
So, and I don't know if that's like a bad, they're like, hey, buddy, sorry you're disqualified. Okay, can I stay and run? Yeah, sure. All right, cool. Have fun.
As long as they go, shame, shame, then I'm okay with it.
That was at Lemons when people put cheaty tires on the car after they make them parade the tires around the paddock, telling that they cheat. Then they'll let them just put something on and
that
run the rest of the weekend.
happens.
No. No.
Tell us about Autobahn.
Yeah, well, hey, some of the cars from 2 weeks ago that we picked, hey, one of the good ones we picked, Landshark Civic, took overall 406 laps. Onset Tetanus's 89 Cavalier that someone got for graduation in 1989 was 12th overall, which is impressive for a Cavalier. Lemonade Racing in their boring E30 set the fast lap with 138, but only got 21st. And Save the Tatas was 15th.
Awesome. Some bad cars out there. A rookie team in the S-Cargo. Oh, no, their team name is called the Rookies, I think.
No, they were
rookies.
Oh, they were rookies.
In Team
Okay, got it.
S-Cargo. Just read what's on the page.
90
Jeff.
Cutlass Sierra, yeah.
They had a 90 Cutlass Sierra. They got 234 laps, earning them 36th place and IOE. In a Cutlass Sierra in your first time out. Great.
Good job.
MST 3000 in their 3000 GT was 22nd. Nightmare on Elm Street in their 92 Talon was 26th. Red Ace Racing's Lancer OZ Oz managed 302 laps, getting 24th. And just ahead of them was 8 Mile, ATEMILE, 8 Mile Motorsports in their O2 Blazer. 303 laps, winning Class C, God's chosen class.
So I have the funny ones. Should have bought a Spectator Pass Subaru RS was 35th. Anyone bet on head gaskets? But their boring E30 was 17th. Oh, that's not very good. The Mousseline Straight Jackets managed a 6th overall and in a Alfa Romeo Spider. Well done. Bad Decisions Racing kept their 1947 Plymouth Special Deluxe going, bringing on 40th, but their Suzuki Esteem was 33rd. Talk about a bad weekend. We feel for you guys.
That might be the greatest name for that team ever. Bad Decisions Racing. They brought a 47 Plymouth Deluxe and a Suzuki Esteem.
Yes, but they did get organizer's choice. But
they have a great attitude about all this. They do this. They know what they're getting into and do it on purpose because they're fun.
Yeah.
They're the same guys that had the Dustbuster minivan, and their in-car camera was a giant VHS video recorder that they somehow attached to the car. And then they'd sit around and watch that on the console wooden TV they brought with them while sitting on the chairs they pulled out of said minivan. So they have the right attitude. I like them.
We like these guys.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So lastly, outside of our picks, Heroic Fix went to Monkey Paw and their terrible brown Opel GT. Judge's Choice went to Rust Belt and their Chevy HHR, and the Wonderman Consortium in their Isuzu Impulse managed 150 laps, getting them 44th, and they got I got screwed.
All right,
Yay.
Pitt Race.
All right.
Let's move on to the race we actually were there.
Yes, Lemons at Pitt Race. So let's start with an apology to our buddies and our teammates, the Two Pedal Mafia. Saturday, they had some issues. They were running strong, sitting in fourth, 5 laps off of the lead. And so that would get them to the race start on Sunday. But some alcohol-fueled mayhem got the better of us that evening, and I hid the infamous double-ender in their car, as well as a well-known 3-pedal mafia marital aid. Might have also got tucked into their cage. Our intention was good-natured humor with our buddies, which we've done on every 3 p.m. car for years. I think where I goofed it was I slept in Sunday morning because I drank too much and wasn't there to kind of help them with the car on Sunday morning. So they didn't see it as kind of our good-natured humor. It was actually kind of taken in a negative way. So some feelings got hurt, and it wasn't our intention. So now they're kind of stressed out about feeling a little sabotaged. Again, not what we were trying to do, and they missed their grid spot. And with all the seriousness I can muster with this sentence, I am truly sorry I hit a chin dong in your roll cage.
Shame. Shame.
Well, some of the cars that we thought would do well there, Misfortune Cookie, they're in their Civic. They won at Thompson and some one other times. They blew not 1 but 2 engines in their car. They like to spin to the moon. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Shift early, folks.
Yeah.
Shift early and shift often.
The most successful 3 p.m. car ever, the Cressida, got 9th after some black trouble on Sunday. Knox Vegas, they're
Which is actually pretty rare for them.
Yeah, it is.
Well, yes. Let's examine the element that was new.
Well, no, that
element
element
to that team.
No, that element has driven that car before. Several, it's not new. It was just rain. I think was tough. New track, whatever. Hey, top 10, it's a lot better than any of the rest of us did. So,
we can't really say anything bad.
Yep, yeah. Knox Vegas has their inexplicably reliable TR8 that won the TR8 challenge. That was, yes.
It was a bag of doorknobs. I was just going to say, not only inexplicably reliable, inexplicably fast.
The white one's faster. The Knox Vegas is the blue one.
Oh, it's a blue one. That one wasn't that fast. Yeah,
the white one was very fast and then blew up very badly.
Yeah.
But
little
it was
tiny
leading
pieces.
The race for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, it started first, so it's...
But it stayed there. It doesn't have to stay there. It was, good hour or 2 into the race. It was still winning.
Yeah.
Chris is right.
Goes.
Yep.
So anyway, let's talk about the bad. The British Empire Strikes Back was there. That was the white TR8.
Yeah, had a Stormtrooper helmet on it. It was actually pretty funny.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And that was the convertible. No, that was the hardtop. The blue one was the convertible. So it was 1 convertible and 2 hardtops. The Javelin, a new car from our friend Manny that was like Oscar. What's it?
Oscar.
Oscar
the Grouch.
Oscar the Grouch.
It was hilarious.
It was green and
funny.
terrible.
It was green. So. It was terrible, and it fits with his whole Elmo theme. So 808 S10 from the West Coast showed up, the one with the awesome 80s paint job, and I didn't see it on the track, so I don't know.
I did. When it was running, that thing was quick. It was a lot of tire, a lot of engine, and it would go.
What's it got in it? I don't even know. It's an earlier
Some kind of
model
Chevy
than
V8.
ours. So.
Yeah.
Oh, V8? All right, got it. The Monza, there was a Monza. I have no idea what the team name was, but they were awesome. And there was a Cadillac and a Fairlane, and they were awesome too.
Fairlane, I think, got IOE.
Fairlane got
on.
IOE.
We're getting there.
We'll get there. Hold on, stop.
We'll get there.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
Gosh, it's
That's why I
written
didn't
below. Why don't you read the notes? Okay, so I got the funny ones. Fighting oil bees, and we don't even know, but it's funny. Ha ha. Bearings Deep, the League of Legitimate Nigerian Businessmen, and the generic.
Love that.
These are just random names. They're not all together. Okay.
Funny names.
And the generic geriatrics. So we should also mention our buddies Apocalyptic Racing as well as Garage Heroes in Training. But all of you are on that list, and they ended up in the best garage of the season. That was Garage Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yep.
Okay, now you can talk about the race winners. Go.
Class A with Silly Nannies in their Mustang. I have no idea how they've actually done this. The way you really, if you really want to disbelieve the fact that they do this, watch them load their truck and trailer at the end of a race. You're going to have to stay to the end, but watch them back their Mustang up onto the flatbed trailer and then up this incredibly long, janky set of ramps into the back of a box truck. Also on ramps in the box truck. It is frightening. Yeah. And
I was going to say, at least they learned to back it in, because when they fronted it in once at New Jersey Motorsports, they shot the ramps out from underneath the Mustang.
Yeah.
Because the front wheels hit the box truck and the back wheels just shot the ramps. It was hilarious.
Why'd you turn?
And then they all yell at each other in Russian.
Yeah.
So you don't even know what they're saying. Is it Polish? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought it was Russision.
Yeah.
I apologize.
So anyway, watch that sometime, and then you also will not believe that they actually managed to pull off a race win. Class B was a Saturn SL2 of Steelhead Racing. I think it's a Midwest team because we've never seen it, but man, that thing was quick.
That thing was cooking.
Yeah. And Class C and IOE was the Rust Cartel Ford Fairlane that just kept turning laps. That thing was always out there. It was always out of the way, and they did a perfect Class C job with that, Jeff.
I was going to say that I know Manny was thinking that because they won Class C that he might have a chance with Oscar to get the or since they won Class C, he might have a chance with Oscar with the IOE. But I told him, you know what? When you have two great cars like that, the one that turns the most laps is
Always
the one
gonna
that's
win.
probably going to get it.
Yep.
Well,
And
and
if it happens
they're,
to
they're
win
not
C-
shy about that. They say that. Yeah.
Well, and if it happens to win C, they're going home with both.
Mm-hmm.
They're not splitting that.
Yep. And I got screwed, went to Momrath Racing and their E36 that, hey, they need some tires for the next day. So another team had the tires and said, well, we'll give you these tires if you fix the clutch on our car tonight. So they stayed up until 2 a.m. fixing a clutch. Turned out the next day it rained a lot, and they did not need those tires. They ran their rain tires. So, hey, oh, well, that's fine. And they led the race until a flag with 45 minutes to go and then came in second. Womp, womp. Sorry.
You know what? I want to mention that the Silly Nannies also flagged.
Oh, yeah.
So
a lot.
I think only once or twice on Sunday, but this is where they were both. If either of them had won a clean race, they probably would have won.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, Silly Nannies still did, but
And we can talk about the flagging at the race later.
Yeah.
But I definitely saw them go off a couple times, especially in the rain on Sunday.
Yeah.
So whether they got a flag or they were just all over the place, that's only how many
Yeah.
times people caught them doing something.
Well, good job, Amanda Tully and folks for second. I know is this his second time?
Yeah.
That
In a row.
she's been
Yeah, at
second,
least.
her team.
After
that-
leading
that-
not long before, losing to go to second at the last second, last hour. So it's a tough one for them, but they ran good races both time.
Yeah,
Well, and it's a well-driven car and it's quick.
absolutely.
It's faster than our
I think
BMW,
Hamza
so I'm
said-
not sure what's under the hood of that thing.
Yeah, I think Hamza said it's the only BMW that cheats harder than he does. Let me do a couple more. Heroic Fix. The Glue Sticks Racing got 12 penalty laps in their tremendously terrible Jaguar. I don't know why anybody ever give him penalty laps, other than I believe it's to keep him in C.
Yeah. That's
So
exactly
if your
it.
car won C and you're staying in C, it's because they think it is absolutely terrible. Let me finish what it is, and then I'll call on you, Mental. They got 12 penalty laps. They ran 12 laps. They busted their transaxle, and ended the day with 0.
And
That number again, 0.
I was out on the track, and I went around that thing. I'm like, holy crap, that thing is I didn't know it was here. I didn't know that piece of crap was still running. I thought they were going to set it on fire last year at New Jersey. And I was just, oh, man, I'm glad they're here, but God, what
They're going to trade it to us for the Ombre, and we were going to junk it, but,
Plus cash.
Because we wanted the seat.
Yes.
We wanted the seat.
And the cash, but, yeah.
From what I hear on Sunday, it was fixed, but it only had 1 gear. So that's not helpful. Judge's choice. There was a 2005 Cadillac.
STS.
Was that an STS, right?
Yeah.
An STS. It had most of the interior still in it. It had carpets in the back seat. It had the back seat wasn't in it, which I thought was disappointing. But the dash was, the leather was still there. The center console was still there.
Panels,
the door panels. They basically just caged it, put numbers on it, and sent it. So good for them, I guess. Org choice went to the aforementioned Oscars Junk Heap Javelin, and that thing was a piece of junk. Regional award went to the Two Pedal Mafia for $199 for, hey, there's a dick in that car. I don't know. I think maybe the dick was on our team. That's us, so we are the dicks, but they won the award. Oh, well, who knows. Life of the Paddock Party went to Zero Energy Racing and their huge barbecue. I had some of that barbecue. That was fantastic. But I felt bad for the guy who ran the taco bar because that was also fantastic, and he didn't get a mention. So, taco guy, here's a shout out, whoever the hell you are.
Rock on. Now, folks, you can't be Three Pedal Mafia, but you can be almost as awesome. How you beg of your car stereo on your way to work? Mental, how can it be as awesome? One word,
that at all.
Supercars. So check out Extreme Experience because they'll put you in the driver's seat of some of the world's best supercars at over 20 racetracks in America and Canada with no speed limits, no shifting restrictions, and no governors. Awesome cars, awesome tracks, awesome 3PM caliber instructors like Jeff, Chris, me. Take a ride along one of their new Polaris slingshots. They've got a McLaren, and it is almost as good as the cars we brought we're going to bring to NJMP. And I can hear you now. But Mental, I'm not all big money like Three Pedal Mafia and Eric Lang over there and Dr. Florida Man Donnie. That's the joy of sponsorship, see? Because E1R has got you covered. And if you enter Everyone Racers, all one word, when you book at xxspeed.com, it's going to get you 25% off. So Extreme Experience, it's your turn.
And if you have barking dogs on your bingo card, now's the time.
Oh, Lord. And you know who never incites my dogs to bark? Chrissy's mom. Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Who's Chrissy's mom has her own dog that barks. Bark, bark.
And
anyway, let's move on.
We were elbows deep in cookies this weekend.
Yes, we were.
That was, but in many occasions, the highlight. And people actually wandered by our paddock just to have, like, people would come by and see Tupperware. Are those Chrissy's mom's cookies?
Oh, yeah, they were.
So, I have to say that the tow truck guy on the fourth tow-in of the TR might have gotten a box of cookies from Chrissy.
They did. I sprinted to him.
Here, take the cookies. Yep.
I was like, I'm very sorry. And they're like, oh, we're working all day. It's fine. Like, I guess they get paid one way or another.
Hey, who doesn't like cookies, though?
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I was disappointed
anyway, let's move on.
I was disappointed they were pushing instead of towing cars around.
They were pushing. It was a little quicker, actually.
Well, but the problem with pushing is if, like, in the Civic, we have a diffuser sticks out the back. If they tried to push us, they would just completely destroy our diffuser.
When I got pushed in, they asked. Before they hooked up to the bumper, they rolled up and said, "Is it cool if we push you?"
Well, that's
I don't know how it was working for you, Jeff, the 14 times you got pushed in. But they asked me.
Well, that's nice. All right. So listener feedback, Jeff, right? That's what you said before I
listener
interrupted
feedback.
you. Hey, we asked for some trombone tech support, which is, totally normal on a car show. And you guys came through. Thanks to Bill Fisher as well as Mike and Melissa Harrell for their expertise and help. We got what we needed, and then Jim left the trombone in the trunk of his Lexus. Yep.
This weekend, there is such a shit show.
Everybody was so excited about it. Like, we must have told enough people that it was coming, And people asked all weekend. They're like, where is it? I know. That's why we need the tube of mockery.
We need it for ourselves this weekend, so we needed it.
Was there anything that went right? I'm going to open the floor right now.
We're not there yet.
Vicky Fisher's yam stew was amazing.
Yes, but that was another team. That's not us. Anyway,
Hamza's car drove great on Sunday.
Sure, but it did break, didn't it? Anyway, we'll get there. Let's go back to listener feedback.
Yes, right. Just get to it. We're almost to the name pain topic.
I'd like to mention that there is a new way to say hi. I listen to the show, and I do not agree or appreciate it.
We, on the other hand, do.
Friday and Saturday morning, at least 8 people, and I love you all, but cut it the fuck out, came up to me and said, "Hey, Jeff, how's the Citroen paperwork?" Not that done yet? What's your problem, dude?
We love that. Please keep it up. Thank you.
Yeah, we think it's
great. We're putting that on your shirt when we get the shirt.
Hey. Paperwork.
And honestly, after the Citroen paperwork gets done, still come ask Jeff how the Citroen paperwork's doing.
Shame.
Listen, it's May. It's not May. It's only April. Why does it say May? In May, when your heart, it's the spring. Let's just say the spring, the time when hearts of racers turn to thoughts of fancy. Well, how about some fancy racing, people? Lucky Dog has openings for the Memorial Day weekend at Utah Motorsports Campus. They have a car show. They have live music. They have food trucks. They have karting. Holy crap. Looks like the rest of their schedule has some openings. But if you haven't figured out, they book up quick. So check it out soon at racelucky.com.
Yep.
Main topic time? Are we ready?
Topic time!
Wow.
So, Mental decided before, I think like Friday, right? Was it Friday or Thursday that you decided that we should just re-theme this race, the Three Pedal Mafia shit show?
I don't think I decided. I think that was just the group chat, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I've got an idea.
And you wrote lyrics to a song. I don't want you to sing it. Please don't.
I did write lyrics to the song.
I don't know whether you had a crystal ball or you cursed us.
Oh.
But either way, I'm
blaming all of these problems on Mental? That's a little far.
I'm not.
Yeah.
His RV was great. His dogs were perfect.
Yeah,
so
Mental for one weekend, Mental had very little to do with things going poorly. So well done. That's great.
I had very little to do. I think there's a ratio of the less Mental has to do, the less Mental has to mess things up.
Yeah.
Because I stood around all weekend going, what should I be doing? And like Chrissy would go, the dishes. And I'd walk over there and Steve's like, no, I got it. And I'd be like, oh, okay, well, food. And Vicky's like, no, I got it. And I'm like, so how's the car coming? And you two guys are like, we got it. And I'm like, okay.
So then I was like, hey, clean out the refrigerator in the Wakeman RV because a soda exploded.
Yeah.
I really want to put my sodas in there.
It was purple drank.
It was not. Was it purple
Yes,
drank?
it was.
It was totally purple.
Was it?
Drank.
I don't know.
He blamed it on a Diet Coke or something.
I didn't know what it was.
Anyway.
It was purple drank.
Well, thank you.
He
Mental.
cleaned it. He knows.
I know. I don't blame him.
Thank you very much for cleaning my mother's RV, by the way.
No problem.
It's now gone directly back to basically, if you don't know, my RV had a little bit of crash damage at the last race. And, wow, we're terrible. It's a horrible hobby. So all winter, it sat at a body shop getting many thousands of dollars worth of repair, and a soda exploded because it was stored without power. So of course the refrigerator got hot. So I made sure to go into the refrigerator because we took it right back to the body shop, and who knows how long it's going to take. I made sure to clean everything out of the
that's very nice of you.
But not
as
your
I mentioned,
podcast box.
I left my podcast stuff. So
I think there was
let's talk
butter
about
and
stuff.
cream cheese in there, so that would have been so gross.
So
I know. I appreciate
our
it.
garage was awesome. It was already mentioned. It was the Three Pedal Mafia, the Garage Heroes, the Two Pedal Mafia, and Brett Sloman We love Brett
Apocalypse.
Sloan.
Yeah.
Not just Brett Sloman, but the whole crew
Yes,
from
you're right.
Apocalypse
Right.
Pitt Racing.
Crew. I know.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was awesome.
So those guys were great. They had good beer. They were drinking it up we got there on Friday night. Sorry about all
Thursday
this.
night, but okay.
Thursday night. Sorry.
Sorry about they were well into that case by the time I got there.
They'd filled their entire spoiler with Modelo bottles by the
Yellow bottles.
Yeah. Impressive.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, about the singing of Pueblo all the time, but you can share our spaces anytime. You're cool.
Absolutely.
It's part of the party thing. So, and I was going to second that. It's awesome that we were in the middle of everything. We had so much fun. The downside is that we were close to the judges. So if there's anything that happened, we're remotely close to our car, somebody else's car, somebody they thought that might be our car, or just making fun of us, they were quick to tell us. But it was fun having them around.
And
I
if
was
they
gonna
were
say-
bored, they just decided to yell at us too sometimes.
That's true.
It's all right.
But
Deservedly.
our Jazzy
Yep.
got quite a workout, mostly by the entire
Yes,
11
it
staff.
did.
I think Jay was one of the biggest fans. He just rode that thing around all weekend and had a nice time, so that was great. Yeah, good time.
At one point on Sunday, he went to go stand up, and he's like, oh, God, I should not have been in this all weekend. I think he got jazzy sores.
So somebody on Facebook took a picture of him taking a picture of you, the video of the very sad song that you sang, and people were making fun of him, and he said standing is hard, or walking is hard. And I was like, actually, once you're in the jazzy, walking it's not that hard. It's just that you realize that you value sitting so much. And you realize that's all you really need to do.
Just walking is completely unnecessary once you're in the gym.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay, so on to race car prom. So, or I'm just going on these notes. That
Yeah,
somebody
go, whatever.
suggested.
Go for it.
Okay, great.
All right, whatever.
So, Soggy had made a joke or suggested something about having a prom. So another race had a prom, and it looked like fun. And he kind of was cryptic about it. And he said there wasn't a prom on April 1st just because it's an April Fool's joke. So everybody was kind of like not sure if he was kidding or not. But basically, I told the team to show up because we're doing a prom. And I said, bring your costumes. But I told them like 3 days before we left. And everybody was like, wait, what? And, people that aren't on Facebook said, I have no idea what you're talking about. But I put it on our message board, and everybody was like, when did this even happen? So I said, even if there's no prom, we're going to have a prom, and that's how it's going to be. And our team pretty much showed up. We came up with some good stuff. So in addition to our costumes, our teammate Eric had brought 2 large speakers, not even sure that he was doing this for the prom, but he brought them. And
Well, he just brings it to play like Pueblo and stuff.
Yes.
around normal times. So.
Pretty much, yes. Yes. So, and then he was also an excellent DJ. So he played all the 90s hits that we heard from our proms.
Not all of us had proms in the 90s, Chrissy.
Sorry. Well,
Yeah.
90s-ish. I mean, they were mostly 90s songs. I don't think there were too many things that
No, it was still fun. It was great.
Yeah, we had a great time.
We did have a great time. So, and then there were at least 2 couples that were totally dedicated to this event. They showed up in like serious suits, fancy dresses, heels, and they danced to every song.
In the
I think
heels.
I think they had more fun at race car prom than they probably did at their regular prom. And
I agree. Or
and to-
anything else. They showed up
Yeah.
good.
and I'll tell
Roland
you-
was there in a very dapper tuxedo. He had like a kind of traditional tuxedo. Other than that, pretty much we had a lot of cross-dressing, which is great.
Sure. Yeah. And
Sure.
hopefully
And
you
on
saw-
that note, Soggy took that to another level.
Yes,
With the-
he
Yes.
did.
Well
Shoes.
done, Soggy, with those boots.
peach.
Absolutely.
Peach, were they peach or pink? I couldn't tell. It was behind the disco lights. It's hard to tell exactly what color they were. But they were hella platform and hella
They were.
high heel. So-
High heel. I mean, I wore flip flops, so these people went all out. But yeah, they danced the night away. So I actually think it went really well. I think most people that either stood around and watched us crazy kids do stuff, or the people that were attending had a good time.
Yeah.
I think so.
Uh,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, are we doing this in order here? Because I'll just go to the next thing. I threw these out in order. I feel like let's just talk about some car stuff because we'll do car stuff, non-car stuff, car stuff.
Well, so if I remember correctly, our car is broke.
Yeah.
Yep.
Both of our cars broke. So I'll mention that the Triumph TR7, it's a 76 TR7. It is welded together from multiple cars. It is not straight. It has
Tried
not
to kill itself 3 times.
It has not finished. It does not finish many races. It has won Class C, IOE. I got screwed. Heroic Fix. Has it won anything else?
It won't win any of the good things for the most part.
Yeah. So because it won C, by the way, and it won C 8 years ago when it had a
100 horsepower less.
Yeah, a carbureted Buick Oddfire 231, 236. I can't remember what that was, whatever that thing is. And I was driving it that weekend, and I'll just say that the steering was so hard that I didn't have enough muscle to turn it at all times. And I'm mentioning that because they since put in an electric power steering pump that worked 70% of the time this weekend. So sometimes you couldn't turn the car and sometimes you could. Mental, you were in there. What did you think of the steering?
So I got in the car on Saturday, and I'm like, oh God, I'd forgotten how hard this car was to steer. And I did my shift on Saturday, and I got out of it. And then Sunday, I went to go get into it, and Eric was strapping me in the car. And Eric reaches over and goes, and you turn on this switch for the electric power steering. And I said, this thing is power steering? I did an entire shift on Saturday without any damn. Are you friggin' kidding me?
Yeah. Well, I did my power. I know where the switch was. The switch was in the right position, and I had no power steering on Saturday either until the last shift. So I don't know what was wrong. But either way, on Saturday, the TR kept losing fuel pressure. So we changed, I think, everything in the fuel system to see if we could figure out why it was losing fuel pressure. Basically, it would run great for 3 turns, and then all of a sudden go, and like go down to like 10 psi of fuel pressure. And by the way, it now has a 260 horsepower 3.8 Buick supercharged out of a Park Avenue Ultra or some crap like that. So the thing is a freaking rocket. None of the wheels are pointed the same direction. No. Sometimes it's power steering, sometimes it doesn't. The thing is, it's practically a death wish. But let me tell you, when it's running, it's freaking awesome. I had such a good time driving that 50% of the time. Mental, go on.
And I made this joke to all of you guys, but I'll say it again because it's funny. It got me a laugh. Driving that car is like negotiating a sale with a teenager who just watched a marathon of Pawn Stars. Yeah, so you're coming into the corner. I'd like to brake now. I'll give you 35% of the braking. Okay, well, I'd like the downshift. I don't know if third gear is really going to be available. I'd like to turn 45 degrees. I'm going to give you 37 degrees, but then I'm just going to throw in a supercharger kick halfway through the corner. Is that going to work for you at all? No, it is not working for me. Just do what I tell you, car. No, I can't do that at all. And now I'm mad, so I'm just not going to let you have any brakes. You get no brakes.
I didn't have any braking problems. I didn't use them sometimes because I was just hoping that gas would show up. I would be putting like come on, come back to me, fuel, come on, fuel.
So what was it?
So we tried everything, and then we discovered that there was a giant. We knew the hole was there, a giant hole in the muffler, like it had split at the seam, and you could put a Nerf football size hole in this muffler, and it was pointed right at the fuel lines and the fuel pump. So it was boiling the fuel inside the fuel lines and creating a vapor lock.
Ta-da!
Duh!
Yay, safety.
Yeah.
Heat up your fuel.
Yay, safety, right? Actually, thank goodness this is actually a part that's working on the freaking TR, that it's just something else is telling it, hey, this is really hot. I don't want to do this anymore. Because we just didn't burst into flames, because that seems like a great idea too.
Yeah. So at the end of near the end of the day, after I had been pushed in, I believe 4 times.
I think it was 5.
Maybe 5. Yeah.
I think it was 5.
I think I got pushed in 4.
On the hill.
Yeah.
I got pushed in 4 times. I puppied it in once.
No, but Bruce we got
Oh, well,
pushed
either
in
way, a lot.
twice.
Either way,
I-
whatever. It was a lot. That's why we gave the tow crew some cookies, because they were working hard for us. We did close up the muffler with a ratchet strap and a welder, and after that it seemed to run a lot better. But my shift was over, and then on Sunday it was rain. Which, by the way, a car that doesn't want to steer in the rain and has a ton of horsepower
And a welded diff.
and a welded diff,
And a short wheelbase.
a lot of fun.
And a crappy car.
It also has these nice little scoops for air, which then when it's wet, just pour water on you right off the windshield.
Oh.
Nothing as bad as the ombre in the wet. Yeah, someone else tell me what happened in the other car, because I didn't see it on Saturday.
Well, the BMW ran hot when it was pushed hard late in the day, and Mental actually was watching his gauges and saw that the gauge was getting hot and brought it in. So kudos to Mental for not just
Woohoo,
going
good mental.
right, not just going all balls
honestly,
deep.
for not listening to Hamza. Drive it. Just keep driving it. I'm
Yep.
not. No.
He actually came in. We let it cool off a little bit. We swapped the water pump and thermostat, and no change. So we said, well, the only thing left is the radiator, and we got one of those. Let's put that in. So we did, and it was fine. And that's the only problem it had the entire weekend. We put like a quart of oil in it, and just drove it.
I had a good time on it in Sunday.
Yeah,
Sunday, I got a half a shift, and it was fantastic.
it's an easy car.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Good
And let me tell you, from coming off of the TR all day, it was like a freaking Cadillac, man. It was like it was like an electric train. It was like
And let's talk about making that voyage backwards. Say like you've got this really easy to drive BMW E36 that even Hamza admits your mind starts to wander. Did I leave the crock pot on in the RV? Because it's just so easy to drive. And it's a dry track, and it's a really good track. And then you get into the TR in the rain.
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
Yep.
I really wish
that
I
might-
had done that in
that-
the opposite direction.
You know, that could make a guy black flag and put it into the eye.
Oh, wait, we're getting there. We're getting there. Let's talk about other people first.
All right.
And then we'll
So-
talk about all of the weather.
So we
fun.
broke our cars, and other people hella broke their cars. The Ombre
Hey, Mental,
came in.
talking to your mic.
The Ombre came in, and
The front wheel we all thought it was on fire. We initially thought it was brakes, but they were getting it worked on. It was the wheel bearing because
Yeah, it
the
was-
brakes had been grabbing.
Yeah, it was brakes, and it just everything that associated with touching a brake was smoking any sort of oil off of it, including the bearing, the rotor, the caliper. It melted part of the brake hose. Yeah. So then they
And then
replaced all that, and then
Yeah.
Alan put the hose on wrong. It came back in one lap later with a busted brake hose and
Totally
on fire
ripped
again.
off. Yep.
Right.
Out of the
They're
band.
on fire again, yeah.
Yep, because
And I
brake
can
fluid is now
tell-
hitting it.
yeah, I can't tell if Alan is just really enjoying the learning curve of being the chief mechanic on that team, or if he's a masochist. Because every time that thing comes in, he gets really happy.
He
Like,
does.
He
He's very
smiles.
excited.
He's just a happy
He's a
guy.
happy
He is
guy.
a very happy guy. It is actually fun to watch him work on that thing.
Yeah.
Because he's just in a good mood about it.
Absolutely.
But the Egan Saab, what happened to the Egan Saab? Because we were talking about that one earlier, and he had to pack it in, which is unlike him.
What it really came down to in the end was a exhaust manifold gasket between the engine and the manifold, not the one down by the turbo, and it was leaking quite badly, letting a lot of fumes out and things. And they couldn't find another one.
No one wants to die that way because even
Right.
though it's like basically dying in your sleep, you're supposed to be driving a car.
But his camera setup that he had, I don't know if any of you guys
I
guys
didn't
in
get to
Pittsburgh
see.
had taken a
Use
look at it.
guys, what?
Right?
Yeah,
I said,
exactly.
well, we were in
Use
Pittsburgh.
guys.
That's why I threw that out there. It was
Not-
fantastic.
that's
It's
the
right above
news,
the wing
guys.
mirror was 3 cameras, and they showed everything around the car. It was pretty neat. So if
I
you get a chance,
actually
take a
didn't
look.
see it. I should
And I
go
didn't
see it.
either.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was busy wrenching on the TR all weekend.
So Saturday night, Jeff and I were wandering down to the paddock, checking out some of that awesome barbecue, meeting some fans, and we came across the other TR that was going in the middle of an engine swap because they didn't window their block, they windowed the intake
Like the
valve.
lifter hole, like the valley
Yes,
fan. It was
it was
crazy.
like in 4 spots, and the camshaft came out like in chunks of lifter. It was, but some other guy had just come down there because he likes TRs. He was like, "Oh, I got one of these. Let me go get the engine." And he just like gave them an engine. So they were in the middle of that engine swap, and we did see them all out on Sunday. So good on them. And Jeff did speak of the Buick Opal, didn't you? About the
I don't know if I mentioned or not, but I definitely have a story. So we all know Yuri. We all know Yuri is from Krakow or something. I'm not sure where. But he sure wrenches like he's from Krakow. So he has that Buick Opal Bell Huey of cars, and he windowed the block. He lost a cylinder or something. I don't know what he did, but he needed to seal it, and it was below the crank. And I talked to the Asian guy who does all the good cooking.
Oh yeah,
and
he came by with pork belly one time. He said,
I missed that. I'm so mad.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he basically said, we got lazy. So instead of removing the crank and fixing it right, we poured concrete in it. Yes, I said concrete. Why anyone would pour concrete into a hole of an engine, I'm not really sure. But as Yuri put it, well, it didn't cure in time, so it didn't work.
Yeah, that's why.
Is that your only problem?
That's what he said. It didn't cure in time. Like it was a good idea that it just didn't have enough time to cure.
I had to use Quickcrete. Nope.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Chris, you got something on Yuri?
Well, if he doesn't set himself on fire, he's not going to win anything. His standards of ridiculousness are really, really high.
And everybody knows it, so there's no surprise there.
That's true. At least he didn't injure himself. Win for Yuri.
Yeah.
Oh, so
right,
you know what was really tight that weekend, this whole weekend across the board, was the food.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there were 2 different buffets, as we said. There was a pulled pork. No, what was it?
Yeah, it was pork.
Pork. Yeah.
Barbecue. Yeah.
That was glorious. It really was really good.
Like
it was
when
really
Kurt
light
would shut up about it. It was Kurt.
Yeah.
That's like a seal. That's like a gold standard.
Pretty much, yeah. So it was worth the trek down to the place where the other half lives, not outside of the garages, to go venture to get some of that. It was awesome. And then there was also a taco bar that happened in the paddock where we were. I didn't have any, but I think I told most of our people not to have it since we were having dinner shortly.
Yeah, we didn't contribute to it, so I felt bad if we were eating from it. So.
And we still had like lots of food. So our food was awesome this weekend. That was one. Actually, I think we could call that a win. Sure. This weekend.
Yeah, food was good.
Yeah.
We had enough. We had variety, and we have recently been organizing our food with other people. So one team made a lunch. Vicky and Bill, or just really Vicky, Vicky and Jen from Garage Heroes made a couple meals, and we handled most of breakfasts and dinner. So we kind of split it up, and we all had different pieces, and it was and everything I think turned out well. So I'm going to say that our food was about the shining part of our weekend. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that's.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, we never were hungry. It was good.
That's for sure.
And it was nice to not have to do it all. Good.
Those of us that tried the taco bar thought it was excellent.
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't get the message that we were not eating the taco bar.
Oh, no. I got the message, but the guy kept asking me, come on, have a taco. Okay.
Jeff can't say no to tacos.
I felt bad because there was the line was gone and everyone was done and there was still food. So you know.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Fine.
So let's get back to the hella terrible weather this weekend. We mentioned that it rained on Sunday.
Now Saturday was damn near perfect. Friday and Saturday, that was like perfect race weather.
Yep. And I said, and we weren't in it. Like there were other people that were having a perfect race on Saturday, and
I was wrenching on a TR and getting pushed in.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I did want to mention that I opened on Sunday to hella bad rain. But I went out there and the car was running great and it was fantastic. And the TR I kept at black flag and dent free. and eventually we came in and went to the rain tires. So my shift did not have the rain tires, but Mental's did have the rain tires. Mental, how'd that work out for you?
Actually, Mental Shift didn't have the rain tires, because it was a torrential downpour where you couldn't see off the hood of the TR. And when I was coming through with the locker rear end and the stream of water that had now formed in one of the 4 spots on the track because it had been raining for 5 hours, I elected to test the reflexiveness of the tire barriers in turn 12. And I did that by leaving the track in turn 11. And then when it hit the grass, it actually accelerated. And any steering, throttle, brake input was just, really?
Not
No,
gonna help.
I'm not. No, you're going all the way. And I mean, I had an eyeball conversation with the corner worker, and he's like, "Wow, you're going to slide all the way over here." And I'm, yeah, I'm going to slide all the way into that tire barrier. I'm really sorry. And I did. I put a nice little dent in the nose of the TR, and because it had been raining, I think it started raining like 2 a.m. I remember it woke me up, and I just went right back to sleep. Oh, no, we were still up at 2 a.m., but it started raining after I went to sleep. So the ground was soaked. And I could get enough traction to back up, but any attempt to go forward would just dig a hole in the ground. So, our buddies in the tow truck, they know the TR, and they walked up and actually just pushed me back on the track, where I promptly returned to the penalty box and had a lovely conversation with Curtin Craggers. And Craggers had, at least for us, I thought one of the best penalties ever. Because he was mad that he didn't have his E1R fix, so he wanted us to do a podcast. So he made us record a 1-minute podcast for our penalty, which we threw up on our Facebook. It's on the YouTubes, and there's a link to it in the show notes. And if you watch that, apparently someone is walking around with something on their head in the background from Garage Heroes in Training. They pointed that out after they saw it a few times, and they said, "You're welcome."
Yeah, definitely. We should mention that the Garage Heroes in Training had their had a little bit of black flag trouble all weekend.
They did.
I think pretty much every single one of them had at least one black flag.
Oh, absolutely. So
I don't know.
I don't know that Alan. I don't think Alan did.
Oh yeah, Alan did.
Did Jen have enough
Alan-
time? Oh, Alan
He
definitely
was
did.
the one
That's
that
why he was
wearing
wearing
it.
it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think Jen
yeah.
had enough time out there to get a black flag. I think that.
I think because
she
she came
black
in with
flagged herself. She's like,
Yeah.
"I'm done. I'm not doing."
Well, the brakes
or when
failed.
the
so.
car was on fire. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
So
Great.
we did get the rain tires on there, and that cured all of the TR's woes. It was
I mean, except
devastating.
for it's still a hella shitty, hard to drive, gonna
It
kill your
is,
car.
but now it was predictably hella shitty and hard to
Oh,
drive,
that's good.
as opposed to just random. I want to go over here now. But they did have a couple of moments where I was coming up out of the S's. The hood always kind of rises when you're under acceleration of the TR. You're already sitting so low that you've lost half your visibility. And I'm staring up at sky and just and just charging blindly over a hill in a car that is just at any moment waiting to spill out. And I actually had what the actual hell am I doing? Why? I'm soaking wet because all the water's being poured on you. And I just thought, you're actually going to get injured, Mental. Why are you actually doing this?
You didn't use my my mantra that I was going to do. I did all Friday and Saturday.
Let's hear it.
I want to die. I want to die. Every time we came in, and
I was
there were 3
afraid-
hours of problem.
I was
I want to die.
If the TR might hear me and go, okay, but
Right now, okay, let's do it.
yeah. But what's interesting is I did get to close on Sunday in the TR, and it had dried out by then, and the TR was running right, and even though it was on rain tires, you remember everything that is right about the TR, because you can drive a lemons race. You don't have to be aggressive. You just negotiate it through the corner, and then dip into the whoosh, and it goes, and everything gets blurry, and you just step offline, pass everybody, then, well, the brakes are, a little sketchy. Okay, maybe downshift.
I want to die. I want to die.
You negotiate the corner, and then you pick your next 3 targets, and then just, and yeah, that it is, crystal meth. That makes sense.
Yeah, Chris, did you get any time in the TR in the wet or
No.
the dry? Or
I
no.
escaped it mostly because the other day, Sunday.
Get any?
No, at the end of the day, Sunday, we put Jim in.
Because you traded Jim's shift. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because Jim hadn't driven anything, and he hasn't driven anything in like a couple
right.
races. So I was like, no, Jim, like I had 4 laps. You need to go to get some time. So he went out for as long as he could. And then Jeff, you came in before he did. So that's when I ended up in the BMW.
In the BMW, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, we make fun of the TR. If they just got a new TR shell and moved everything into it, that could be a great car.
I didn't drive it, so I can't say.
They
I feel like
need-
there are other options.
Because the
Until
shell
next
is the
time.
problem.
No, but until next time something weird goes wrong with a spindle, it has to get welded back together, or
Yeah,
I guess you're right.
It's just going to be
Who knows?
jankified again. I don't think it's a good idea.
Betty
Probably.
is so much better. So
right,
much
they
better.
have a better car, so
It's
we
true.
just had
It's
to-
true. And pretty much it's the same kind of thing, right? I mean, it's a tiny little car with 2 seats and a GM V6 with like 200 and something horsepower.
It's
so-
better. It's
Yeah.
better. It's not
better.
as jankified.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can
Yes.
someone say the name of the car? That way I can check it off my.
No.
Yeah, I already did. I said Betty.
Good. Thank you.
No,
Which actually-
I got bingo.
Oh, I got bingo too. It's
and so are you
Wasn't-
kidding? All 3 of you guys got bingo.
Yep.
I'm not
It wasn't-
playing anymore.
Wow.
I hate
No,
all
it
these
wasn't.
guys. That's not bingo. Oh, it is. There
It
it is.
wasn't. It wasn't from Betty. But I got it a while ago. Anyway,
But what you
but-
need though is Betty needs to make that whining noise. Betty needs that
Yeah.
engine.
There's no room.
Betty needs.
no, I need that engine.
Betty,
when
Betty
Tin Man
just needs to go. Yeah.
Now, when
But still.
Tin Man mounted that V6 so far back in the RX-7, there is 0 chance of fitting the supercharger intake on it, unfortunately.
But I just the thought of Betty going and passing everything. I need to go to the bathroom.
I don't know. On the dyno, I bet they've come up pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make the
Yeah.
noise.
I
It
know.
doesn't
It's-
make
I
the,
think-
it's not the instant whoosh.
Well,
I
I
don't
do
think
have
they
to.
need it.
No, they don't.
No.
I do have to mention that I told Mental before he got in his last shift because I knew it was drying and I knew he had a chance. I said, dude, you know who still has the fastest lap in the TR? This guy. Why don't you go out there and try and break it? And he did clip me by about 2.5 seconds.
Oh
But-
no! I think it was like less than a second.
Was it? I thought you got it by about 2.
It was
But
a
whatever.
216 something. But
Either
yeah.
way, you clipped me and good job, but you had better tires and
No, I had
And
rain tires.
dry,
and all of
I
that.
had rain tires.
but it was
Which
dry.
are
Rain
RE71s, which are super sticky, and there's a reason we only run them in the rain is so they last more than 2 laps.
Fair.
Yeah,
So,
he clipped me. Good job,
Speaking
Mental.
of rain, I was out when Mental was out. I just took the second shift in the BMW, and I think that's the hardest time it rained all weekend.
I am standing by you on that one. Absolutely.
Yes.
And I know it was raining hard when you were out there, Jeff, but and we were
It
out
got
there.
worse.
It rained so hard, and it had been raining all day. So there were like 6 points of the track where they were just rivers. And I know Chrissy's got something on that.
Oh, well, it was just the problem was that the spray from the other car. So if you were around another car, or sometimes I felt like it was myself, was kicking up so much rain. The visibility was hard anyway. We had Barbasol on it for the defrost inside. We also the BMW has a blower too, but at some point it wasn't great. I came in, we started cleaning the windshield. From then on, it was bad. Chris gave me a rag on a stick. I used that, wiped all the Barbasol off, and I basically was back to square one. So it was just at some point I was getting slower than I felt like it was safe. Especially for people that know how fast we drive. So I think I came in a couple minutes early, but it was definitely harrowing. We had a lot of
Talk about turn 15, 16, and 17.
so that's a really long straight on the in the course, and it goes downhill, and then it's not straight actually. There's bumps in it,
There's
but
a kink and a bump and a...
there's kind of 2 kinks, but as you're going straight, we found that basically if you drag your brakes or you can kind of touch them a little bit to signal that there's somebody there at some point when the rain is coming down so hard, your windshield wipers are going full speed, and the rain from the cars behind you are kicking up so much rain, or in front of you, excuse me. You just can't really see that there are cars there. So if you don't have a rain light or lights on, You can't really tell when they were there. There's plenty of times. There was incidents that continued to happen. I think every other time around the track, a car was off. And there's this poor, I think it was a woman, who was in this flagging station. And it was kind of off to your left, kind of in your peripheral vision, but you can really see anyway. And this poor person was trying to flag the whole everybody as hard as they could to tell people that there were cars stopped. And actually, and this is the kind of thing that it was actually necessary, because there were plenty of cars that were just, spinning everywhere.
And like they were like world class 8 revolutions, because they'd hit that one river of water at full tilt and just pirouette all the way up that hill.
A really fast part of the track. And so you kind of wanted to go fast until you hit standing water, and then you'd slow down a little. And it was pretty, it was not the funnest. It was fine to be out there. Unfortunately, Hamza's car is good, but it was one of those, you touch the brakes. Oh, that's slippery. Oh, there's some standing water. And that's kind of how every corner went. So, it was fine. I would have been happier in the dry, which a bunch of you guys got. But
yeah, Chrissy, did I go in after you in this, or was there somebody between us? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I went in and it was raining pretty hard. I want to say that I was in the rain in the TR in the morning shift, and I loved the rain, and I was having a blast. But I know my times were terrible. And then
Eric actued got in the BMW.
Eric got in. So then it was 2+ hours later when I got in, and it was raining really bad, but I started to get the dry line happening. So that was an interesting time, because it would be raining hard on one spot but not on another, and your
explanation
start to dry and then not be dry. So
your explanation of if the windshield started to get wet, you would see it faster and then you would lose the traction, or was it vice versa? Whatever you said before was absolutely true, and it basically integral, because the rain kept going on and off.
And it was only raining in some parts of the track. So you would get to a wetter part of the track, but the cloud might have moved to another part. So you would get to the track and it would be wetter, but even though it wasn't raining. So it was definitely bizarre out there for that shift.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
Rain.
Mm-hmm.
So good stuff from this race.
Sure. I know that we definitely hung out with a lot of people. We don't usually see at all the race. Dr. Face Eater himself, Donnie from Florida, was there. Did he race? I have no idea. Did he rule the paddock in his slab? Yes, he did.
Yeah, he was crewing for one of the crews that hella blew up on Saturday.
Oh, okay. All I know is he drove his slab around, and he cracked me up every 10 minutes.
He is such a great guy.
And he definitely licked my face at one point, and I got concerned.
Oh, that's awesome.
We went down to the barbecue, and I forget, I was talking, and somebody says, "Hey, are you mental?" I had a Wakeman moment where someone recognized me from the show, and it was like, "Hey, I'm Cheese Bolt Enterprises," and he was all decked out in the white tux with the pimp
red
cummerbund
smoking jacket.
Yeah, and then so that whole crew, and they had that wicked smoking jacket, which he told me he has worn to bars, and it works well for him. So, and yeah, that jacket was dope, and just that whole crew. I've talked to Aaron Sloman, hadn't seen Aaron Sloman in eons, so actually getting to hang out with him was great. So yeah, that whole bunch.
Yeah, we love them.
And then we talked about when somebody used my picture for catfishing. So Marie's Ride Scams, she was there hanging out. She came by and talked with us a bit.
Cool. She was there.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was there. Oh.
Yeah. She left a card for Chris because she saw our Instagram post and went, "Wait a minute, you guys are here?" Well, yeah, come on. So she walked down. I think she's actually going to try and go to D.C. and drive Hamza's car since it's street legal.
Nice.
And I took it into town for gas because why not? Yeah, exactly.
He can't drive. They can't drive it now.
It's still in the trailer. Still hooked to the truck. Still in the street. Yeah.
Nice.
Chris, do you have anybody?
No, he hates everyone.
Yeah, you guys hit it all.
Does.
It's great to see everybody. Like we saw so many people that we don't see. Right.
is my
hey,
shout out.
I thought it was
Shout
fun to
out
see
my
Jay.
besties.
We never see Jay in the East Coast
It's
anymore.
true.
So.
You don't
True.
see Jay
Yeah.
very often.
Jay's looking healthy. Got a little color into his skin, rocking the beard. Married life is treating him right.
Sure.
Sure.
So, does anybody have anything else they wanted? We talked about a lot of stuff here. I don't really think we talked about so much about the racing, but sure as heck talked about the good stuff. We didn't even mention that Matt was hanging with us in the hot tub, driving the Cressida.
Mm-hmm.
No, we didn't
We
mention
alluded
him
to
as
him,
we
but
alluded that he
say.
might have been.
Black flag.
We didn't mention that the track is still a very fun track and a great place to have lemons. We didn't even come close to filling the paddock up.
No.
Not at
And they
all.
were running other
No, it
events.
was
The
empty.
whole staff was really nice. The security guard guy was nice. Jeff and I, or was it me and you, Chris, ended up talking to the track manager?
Wasn't me.
I think it was me and
did.
Jeff. Yeah. We were like hanging with him Saturday night. He stopped by race car prom and was just shooting the breeze.
Oh.
Yeah,
They
good
had
guys.
really hot water. Really
Oh my
hot
God.
water.
You're
Like,
right. Like, burned your hands trying to wash
Scalding
them
water.
off.
He was like, I don't understand. Somebody must have turned it up. And I was like, it was this hot when I got here on Thursday. So it was not us. And I was like, and it's too hot. And I was like, that's not even fair to say because you go to some tracks and literally they only have cold water. But this one is just
cold
too
and
hot.
really cold. Those are
Yeah,
your options.
right?
It's funny because there's like 37 times signs in the men's room at least that says, do not touch the water valves. They do not adjust the heat from the water valves. I was like, clearly it's been a problem before.
Clearly,
But,
but clearly I want to turn it down because it was too
Yeah.
hot.
It's too hot.
When we were having it, because the guy was hanging out in front of there, and Hamza had bought a brand new catch pan to put water in the BMW radiator. And so I was going to go fill more water up for it, and I'm walking in with basically an oil pan into the bathroom. As lightly and firmly as he can, he's, sir, where are you taking that? Because he's thinking I'm going to dump used oil down the shower drain. And I'm like, and I kind of look, I'm like, oh, God, I realize what he's thinking. I go, it's all water, see? He goes, okay, oh, thank God. Man, don't do that to me.
Right? Well, he's got a good reason to be concerned.
Yeah.
So my only random story suggestion was our puking issue is still around. We still have a puking problem. Not we, not I.
Not
Some
I.
people not I. Some people
Anybody
are
on this? Anybody on this podcast puke?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Good there.
Yeah,
Yep.
no.
I drank a
No, we just-
lot.
So, did we actually have puke?
Yes, you
or did we just have
Well, we had
woozy people?
pre-puke. We had a couple
Yeah.
pre-pukers. But
We
who
had
very
two
nicely
people come
recognized
in
it.
who said, "Hey, I think I need to get out now before I get sick."
Yeah, because they know.
Yes.
So
And both of them were yellow. They were.
All right.
Oh.
Don't puke in the
Yep.
car. Or at least
Don't
have
puke
the
in the
camera
car,
on so
everybody.
everyone can laugh at you later. So
Let's mention that I think a lot of the people who had never seen Pitt Race before were surprised that there are basically, as they described it, and I agree with them, there's basically no sweepers and no point where you're taking time off. And it's kind of a busy track, lots of lefts, lots of rights, basically it's slalom after slalom after slalom, downhill, uphill, and I was talking. Yeah, I was talking to someone, and they basically said, like, I don't understand it. Every time I'm driving along, it's like all of a sudden I have less grip than I'm supposed to have. And I had to explain to them it's because you're off camber so often on this track. And I thought about it, and I was really like, this podcast has really helped me, like, understand how the friction surface works and how the contact patch works, because I wouldn't have been able to explain that 81 episodes ago. But I kind of talked to them through it and talked to them about how, when you watch, when your car goes like this and the load transfers here, and then basically Pittsburgh is constantly trying to make you shift your weight load. And I think it's a brilliantly designed track for that reason.
you're
Thought of
never
it that way, but you're right.
You never stop. You never stop.
Yeah.
You're always doing something.
Yep.
Cool.
Oh, and that's what I had always said, even before people got on the track before Friday, was that it was just if you could easily do 2.5 to 4 hours there, because every turn gives you something else to do and something else to get better at and push braking zones.
I want to mention that after I had that discussion, I told him to put his shirt on, stop sleeping with so many indiscriminate women, and stop getting black flags.
They're not indiscriminate women. They are very discriminate women.
That's true. I should
and
say.
they are discriminate about him.
Yep.
I still didn't see the Corvette picture. Anybody else have anything else to talk about this race?
I guess a good spot to end that segment. Let's keep moving on to.
Well, I do need to ask a question because
oh.
all you guys got bingo. What judge wasn't there this weekend?
What judge
I
wasn't
don't
there?
even
Eric
know.
Rude.
Oh,
Eric
why are you
Rude,
doing this?
Steve McDaniel.
No.
Yep.
It's
Okay,
not-
keep moving on. All right, so
Okay.
Next.
It's
Never get bingo.
just the tip.
Oh, we're doing just the tip.
Tip.
Just
Tip.
the tip. Just the tip. It's just
Oh, wow.
the tip.
We have
I
the
like your
worst.
songs today. They're
We have the
good.
worst intro segments ever.
Okay, so this is kind of lame, but I feel like it's relevant. It's getting warm. We're gonna do some spring cleaning. So, change your snow tires out, please. Do it now. I need to listen to this advice
Yep,
and handle
me
this
too.
this weekend because I have not done mine yet. But just do it. And when you do it, check your tire pressures. Make sure that they are correct before you get on the road. Especially if your bigger size tires don't have tire pressure gauges in them, so you can no longer rely on that to tell you if they're low. So as we're talking about tire pressure, now's the time to check the tire pressure in your spare. So you should do that a lot. One of our teammates on the way home got a flat. He was driving from Pittsburgh to outside of DC, and he was driving by himself, and he got a flat. And my first question was, do you have a spare, and is it actually working? And if it wasn't, that would really suck. So just making sure that is filled, because you don't want to deal with it if it's not and you get a flat and you need it.
Or if your spare
like, I don't
requires a
know.
compressor, you might want to make sure you have a compressor that works. That helps.
Because
There's
Jeff,
that as well.
Jeff can't rescue everybody with a flat tire.
I know. Seriously.
No, and nobody can rescue him when he gets a flat tire. So, no. So, okay. So anyway, I think this weekend will be nice here. Maybe it will be where you were coming from. So make sure, why don't you give your car a bath? That seems like
No.
a nice thing. Yes, right?
No.
It seems like a nice thing to
Not
do.
doing it.
Here's the note. Here's my next note. Take the trash out.
Nope,
Just
not
take-
doing that either.
Please. You'll be so much happier.
You're standing
In
there
my
at the
note
gas
says-
station. Just throw the trash out while you're standing there. That's all.
I don't get
This
out of the
is-
car at the gas station. I live in New Jersey.
Hand it to the guy. Hey,
No,
hey,
they do
here,
not want it.
here's my trash, and here's $5.
Please take the trash out of your car. Just do it, and you're gonna be
No.
so much happier when you do.
I'm just going to tell all of your student body organizations that you can't stand having a clean. I'm just going to break into your car and clean it.
No, they won't. They've seen my office.
Okay.
They know.
Right? They know the General Wakeman problem. They know
Yeah,
that
that's right.
he is how he is. Just clean out your car. If next time I see your car, I should have cleaned it out myself. But whatever.
No.
And
Well,
lastly,
that's
if
last
you-
just a tip. I've got some yard work I got to take care of. There's just absolutely nothing in there for me. So
What?
I said, if that's
Read
the
your
last
next
bit of just the tip,
Oh,
I've got
yes,
some yard
no.
work to take care of. Clearly, there's nothing here for me. I'm going to leave now.
Right? No, but it is fertilizer time, and so don't lick the lawn.
Do people
and I
do
feel
that?
Like, no, it's inside joke from many shows ago.
Oh.
Anyway, clean up
Yeah,
your car.
Like,
do it.
that's why you always want to get the press passes to the car show before they've all been licked.
Right?
Oh,
Don't
gosh.
lick the
Not
door
paying
handles.
attention.
Don't lick the lawn. Great.
You'd think I wouldn't sitting here each week because I didn't remember that.
Okay. I'm glad he did.
I'm glad too. So thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hate us, even if you don't listen to us on iTunes, go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. Tell us why. We love it anyway. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram or Twitter Did anybody post anything on Instagram this weekend?
Insta what? I did. Yay!
I did? Okay, good. Because I didn't. I was so busy I didn't do any. Thanks
Insta
again.
what?
And until next week, keep the TR7 slanty side up. Unless you don't have a TR7, then just keep the wheels down.